Good morning, cats. Good to see you, man. It's a nice little surprise. Just testing some stuff out. Kind of figure maybe I can get away with not doing the 4 a.m. thing just on the weekends. Maybe I'll do a live show on the weekends. Because you know what? That 5-minute format, I love it. It's super helpful. I've heard from people, you even, that the format works. Yeah, cats, that's cool. You can put up, we'll see how it goes. We can put up, I'm guessing, just like a blank screen for you. Kind of want to just chit-chat about the market because something changed. You probably know because you're feeling it, especially in the project you're in. But the market as a whole, people are talking kind of bullish, and some numbers updated that have me thinking maybe we did see the bottom, which October has been at least once out of the past 2 years here. So kind of interesting. Let me send you an invite. I'll DM it to you on Discord. And if it doesn't work, if it makes you go on camera, no, it'll let you block out the camera. It should work. I'm going to DM you here. But dude, if this works, I don't know. I thought for a while this could be the start of the Idiot's show. Henry's going to come on. He and I have been chatting, and we're probably going to kick this off as a regular weekly show. And I do want it where anybody can join, like, no commitment. Like, you don't have to be a regular, but if there's a week you can come on and you want to come on, then you're welcome to. So, could be fun, man. Hell yeah. Okay. When you join, I got to see how it pops up on my screen. I don't know what to do. I've not had anybody join yet, but it can't be too hard. So yeah, we might have Henry. Gravity is going to join too, so there'll be a few of us. Got some talking points all queued up. There's some cool stuff going on, man, especially the shoes. Like, I wish I was more into shoes. I wish I went out more so, like, shoes would actually matter a bit. But, like, I can't wait to talk about these here. Those are wild. And I can't tell if they're, like, augmented reality or if that's, you know, physical. If there's actually stuff coming out of these shoes. Anyway, we'll chat about that. Very, very interesting out there. Okay, cool. I see Gravity here. And Gravity, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm going to check if you're in Discord chatting. You're going to have to basically enable your mic. You don't have to do camera. Oh, funny. Cats, do you want to try rejoining? I see Gravity here, and he's probably playing with camera, too. Okay, cool, cats. Yeah, Gravity's doing the same thing. He's trying to figure out where to actually enable the mic. Gravity Schmavity. Did I actually make this live? I made it live. I don't know if it's public or private. I think it's public, actually, which is cool. Man, I'm joining the what are they called? Pixels Inc. I'm joining their spaces later, which I'm kind of excited for. Although I just been chatting with them personally, and they put out a tweet saying Crypto Slam was joining them, and I definitely don't represent Crypto Slam when I do that stuff. That's just me liking their stuff. But whatevs. I quit vaping. I missed it so much. Like, not even withdrawals. Like, I wasn't fighting those. I love it so much. Oh, Gravity, I see you. I'm going to add you here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, buddy.
Okay, cool. Hey, how are you?
I'm okay. A little hungover, which is unusual for me.
Was it worth it?
Well, the thing is in Key West, this is like a huge week where it's like just a party after party. As we have what's called Goombay Fest and Fantasy Fest, so you kind of got to pack for the long haul here, and I'm not a huge drinker, so
every so often just got to get in.
Yeah, it's not bad to blow off a little steam.
There you go. What was your drink last night?
It's funny. It's got a few names. If you go to the Green Parrot Bar in Key West, it's called Mother's Milk. And if you go to Havana, Cuba, it's called a campechana, because the Campeche Mexicans would drink their Cuba Libres this way. Basically, it's a rum and coke, but instead it's rum and soda water with a splash of coke.
Ooh, yum.
Yeah, it's actually much less cloying than drinking all that Coca-Cola.
First time I ever heard of like rum and coke was in a Batman comic. And you're a comic guy, right?
No.
No? Did you used to be?
I mean, I'm a huge like Calvin and Hobbes fan and Bloom County and stuff like that, but and a lot of modern cultural cartoonists.
Okay.
But not like, I don't know, like when
like
you say
superhero
you're a
stuff.
cartoon guy, what are you thinking of?
Well, so like comics, I was thinking of like Batman and stuff like that. There was a comic in the 80s. It like a famous comic. It was A Death in the Family. It was it's one of the first comics where a superhero dies. It's where Robin dies. And Robin's on a plane. He's flying overseas trying to find his mom. And the airplane stewardess offers him a rum and coke. And again, I'm a kid. I had no idea what that was. I was picturing a dessert. And he's like, no. And he's like, actually, yeah, but hold the coke or something like that.
Yeah.
And again, for years and years and years, I just pictured he was having dessert on the plane. And then I got a little older, and I realized he's getting hammered. He's just getting hammered.
No way.
It's a yummy drink.
Hey, I got a big echo in my headset. I don't know if my settings are off. I'm gonna go play around a little bit here. How are you doing, by the way?
I'm good, man. I'm excited for this for a few reasons, but I'll give you a quick tip. In your audio settings in here, like there's different input output settings that are different from your PC settings. Might be something to do with that.
Let me see. Actually, no, I didn't fix that. I thought the echo cancellation might be doing it.
No, probably not that. Let me think here. If you're getting echo, do you have the YouTube video pulled up elsewhere too?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No. I have 30 tabs up. It's funny when I fire up my browser. It's one of the real productivity tips is use that, when you fire it up, the tabs that you usually use, you don't want to forget about stuff that you're sort of following. Put them all on your startup menu and boom, it's like my morning starts and it's like, okay, yeah, I don't lose the page on all these things we're all sort of following.
Yep. Smart. By the way, if I mute, do you still have an echo?
It's only when I speak I get the echo. Oh, actually, now that you muted, you're right. It's gone.
Okay, and now it's back?
Like
right now?
Yeah. And it's only when I'm speaking. But, yeah, when you just muted, it eliminated the echo I'm hearing on my side. So maybe, yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Cats, I hear you.
Cats, yeah.
Now, how about now? Do you got the echo still? Check.
You're not echoing as bad now.
I'm not echoing. And
I'm
Gravity.
I'm trying to play around with the sound settings too.
Okay.
Katz, are you echoing when you speak?
A little bit. Yeah, I'm trying to play with the settings.
Actually, it's gone now, so I don't know. Maybe Hud muted himself.
I got an idea what that might be. Okay, so echo's gone when you talk now?
Check 1, 2. Yeah, it's gone right now.
Okay. Now tell me if it comes back here, okay? All right,
one.
is it back?
Check 1, 2. Yeah, it's
Okay,
back.
I know what it is. It's actually on my
Now Huda's going.
Okay, it's on my end. I think it's because I have my PC audio routed through my sound settings or whatever, so it's coming through twice. But I know how to get around that. So as long as you're not echoing now, I know how to fix it, and it should be good. Katz, you sound good on my end too, by the way. Oh, we have a little private chat here too. This is cool. All right, you guys still hear me though, right?
Yep.
Nice. So here's the deal, Gravity. So like, I've done this for 3 months now, every day, and just about every day I'm up at 4 a.m. to research, then record, and then edit. I try to get this out by 7 a.m. my time, I guess like 8 your time, and like I love it, but I'm trying to find where I can maybe get a little time to catch up on sleep, because like it's impossible to get anywhere close to 8. It's more like 5 or 6 a night just because of this, and I want to keep doing it, but I'm like, okay, maybe weekends is where I can start catching up on a little sleep, do a live show instead of the 5-minute video, and ultimately I want it to be a 5-minute video that ultimately I do want it to be a live show, like a 15-minute morning live show for the people that like the short videos though, because they're really helpful. I want to chop it down after the live show. So live stream for 15 minutes, chop it down to a 5-minute video, and then put that out. That's my goal ultimately. I can't lose the 5-minute video because I think it's pretty valuable. But again, weekend, I think the perfect time to experiment. And like maybe if it never works, then it's just the 5-minute videos daily, and then a weekend like separate live show that doesn't have to be 15 minutes. It can be an hour with just the gang, and like anybody can come on whenever. Like I don't want people popping in and out of the show, but like Saturday, a couple people tell me they want to come, they come, and next week it can be a completely different cast, but like pretty open. Whoever from the community wants to join can join. It's not going to be like it's not gonna be like a promotion thing. It's not gonna be a spaces where I have on guests. It's gonna be community just chit chatting about like stories. So that's the dream, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very impressed with your ability to get up at 4 a.m, do all that work, editing, whatever, sleep deprived. Yeah. And you know what? I think that your videos, keep stepping up. The production quality is really good now. The newsworthiness is really good now. So yeah, I guess over time your flow will improve, and you'll get more efficient, hopefully, and be able to sort of make this stuff a lot quicker. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it takes a while to build a real audience, but I think you're doing it in a real way.
Nice. Oh, well, that's so cool to hear. Yeah, like even now, I don't even get discouraged with low views because I don't care. Like when I do this, my thought process is in 2 years. Like in 2 years, this is going to look good. The production will be nice. I'll have a better flow. I'll sound like better because I got too much shtick with my videos still. Like I do this stupid announcer voice, which I want to have, but I definitely want to loosen up too. So it's just over the next year or two, it's going to get smoother and better. And then it'll be a good show that I want. That at that point, I'll be worried about views. And at that point, I think the market will be what we all have pictured it'll be for years now. Like this mass adopted thing that everybody's looking at. Even if you're not into NFTs and the tech and the degen side of it, you're into it because your favorite brand might have something that you bought, like a Starbucks thing, or like what was the travel thing, Tix or whatever that
Trekkie
thing was.
Oh, that reminded me. I'm thinking of minting that.
Yeah, dude, I'm tempted too. But exactly like that, or Michelin, which crazy. Everyone's gonna be in this one way or another, whether they realize it or not, and that's my aim. That's what I'm pushing towards. And also this show, I think at some point moves over to forecast or something. Like I always have my own thing, but I do think they like it too, right? So I do think maybe the daily show, part of this will end up being on their platform, which is cool.
I mean, you use forecast news anyway too, so I the way you can this. as you've gone, it's your comments too, and they're quick. I mean, it doesn't like you hit all these quick hitters, and kind of gives of stuff, which is really it keeps you interested.
That's so cool. That's cool to hear, man. Because when I've gone back and forth. Like initially, I was doing a lot of comments on the stuff. My videos were like 10 to 30 minutes. They were ridiculous. And then I got it down to that 5-minute format, and I tried to even push it shorter, like 3 minutes. And in my thought process doing that, I'm like, dude, shut up. Nobody wants to hear this. I want to just make these quick news things so you can literally just watch it, get on with your day. So I started cutting out the commentary. In the past couple of weeks, it got back up to like 5 minutes because I was talking more. And so I was going to make a point to stop giving extra little color around stuff, just a couple sentences on each story and then move right on. And then you told me you like the commentary stuff. So that got me rethinking. So it's cool. It's cool getting the feedback, to be honest. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need like huge monologues, but the quick comments, I think are really valuable.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Well, that's super cool to hear. Well, I want to do this. I guess I'll do it in the normal format. I'm going to hit the market and then some stories, but we can just chit chat around all of it. So why don't we start with, we'll do the market, we'll do the forecast 500. But before we talk numbers, this week, people are talking about NFTs different, aren't they? There's something in the air, and I saw like NFT Stats tweet out, what do you guys think? Is this a dead cat bounce, or are you FOMOing right now? Like, something is a little different, but I've got my thoughts. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts first. What is going on? What do you think is happening right now?
All right, I'll jump on this because I've been thinking about this and observing this quite a bit lately. And the whole thing reminds me of a long time ago when I was in the stock market. And I actually was there for what we call the dot-com bubble. And, stocks went absolutely parabolic. Anything to do with this new thing, the internet, went nuts. And then everything melted down. And it was just, an implosion, a mania bubble bursting. But then what happens? Then the companies that end up with real business plans and figure out real innovation in the space end up growing and becoming these things like Amazon and all the other names that are out there today. And I think that's what NFTs have done. I had said at least a year ago when Nacho had me on for one of his spaces that we were in a mania and this was all going to burst and we needed a massive repricing of everything. And at the time I said, I thought that generally most NFTs should be about the price of a magazine subscription. And that's kind of where we've gotten to. And so now we're at expectations are so low, and now projects have figured out some things to actually build and put out there, especially in the gaming area, and art has hung on, that now you're starting to get a value proposition where projects are presenting much more value than they actually cost for someone to invest in. And so I think that's what's happening. I think you're still going to get a lot of people that are going to still look at a lot of things that burst and say, well, it's the bull. It's got to come back. And I don't necessarily believe that that's what's going to happen with most of those. Some of those that are really historical, or have some huge cultural significance, will, revive themselves to some degree, but I'm not saying you're going to see that mania bubble reinflate in the same shape that it was the last time. If anything, I would be looking at what's the new things that are being built and are not built just upon hype, but actually maybe they have VC investors. One of the most important things is, do they have a business model that they can sustain themselves? And that's really what we saw the last time, was basically as soon as the mania is over, it's like your runway is burning and you're like, okay, this is the end of it. So the ones now that are figuring things out, that are creating something that gives you more value than they cost, and have some sort of ecosystem with a sustainable business, model, will be the next thing, in my opinion.
And historically, we don't see the old things come back, right? We've been through a few cycles here, multiple cycles, right? Like those little cycles within cycles, and then the bigger kind of macro runs, the old stuff doesn't come back. Like we've all sat here and initially, like early on, predicted our wallets, the value would come right back. Just wait for the next run, and it never happens, right? It's all new stuff. So you were saying something that that some of those are going to come back, but again, it's going to be a whole new crop of NFTs that probably never had their turn in the spotlight. I know Katz is going to get into his favorite thing, and that's a perfect example of things that are going to shine. I wonder if things like Bored Ape and I was going to say CryptoPunks, not CryptoPunks though. Bored Apes and I'm trying to think, World of Women, will those even come close to their old value? I don't think they're going to. I just wonder how high they can get in another, I guess, speculative bubble that'll be here at some point again. Probably a few years off, but yeah, it's interesting to just see these ups and downs and then try to figure out at what part of the cycle we're at now. Like, I think I'm not buying right now at all. I am still watching to see if we found a floor, if we found an area we're still going to hang around and we just kind of float here for a bit. And that could be. But even right now with kind of the hype and that talk that we were just mentioning, well, the value's still going down. The index is showing me still for the past couple of days, we've been down almost a solid percent each day. Right now, down almost 0.5%. And on the week, down almost 3. We're at 2.68. So volume is up. But it's almost why we built this tool, and it's something I say all the time. Measuring things by either market cap or by just sales volume is a terrible way to measure the market because it's not showing the value of these things. So yeah, sales might be up, but the value, the price of those NFTs are still going down. And I don't know. I don't know if people talk on X, I guess, about the sales volume because they're just influencers and they're just trying to get impressions and engagement. Or if they truly don't understand it. I'm not sure. But I definitely want to caution people to not go FOMO into stuff right now because, yeah, those prices aren't looking great. And I do think we have a lot farther to fall. There's still enough projects that are worth 3, 5, 10 ETH, and I still don't know if that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I'd be really hesitant to bottom pick something just because it's cheap. I would be only focused on if they're really building something that's real, there's some innovation, and it has some sort of longevity in its model. But if you're going to just go buy something because it's way down, I mean, you can almost, let me see over here, you pick anything out on this thing right here, and you go, oh, I'm going to go buy I don't know, Moonbirds because it's now 1.72 and it used to be whatever it used to be. I don't know, and I don't know their particular story, what they're actually building right now, but I would not be buying just because something is cheap. I would be buying only what's really building something, innovative, and that'll be the sort of .com bubble 2.0. That's where the thing will happen. Yeah, it'll carry some things up. Now, the other thing that can really happen that I think is the other fuel to this whole thing is the general price of Ethereum and Bitcoin. To me, when NFTs came out, NFTs were really the first place you could spend your crypto, and Ethereum, mainly. So I just think that if you get a massive pump in, the main Ethereum and Bitcoin, it lifts everything. Suddenly, everyone's got a lot of extra, buying power. So I won't be surprised if, and I do. It does feel like we're like on the cusp of a breakout of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I suspect there's going to be some spillover that happens into, But the things that'll be most interesting, it will be the most interesting modern stories, not just bottom picking something because it's gotten crushed and you think it's cheap. If they're not really building something, or have some massive historical significance, it's probably dead money.
Yep. And yeah, really good points. People need liquidity, and that's key to it all. NFTs will not just run on their own without like a major technical innovation. I still think AR and VR is going to be exactly that, but we're too early. It's people need money. People need, like, everyone's tapped out. So yeah, Bitcoin running, which then hopefully leads to, meme coins, altcoins running, and Ethereum running. That gets money in people's pockets or in their wallets, and then they go shopping for some NFTs that, at this point, some of them have enough, I don't want to call it historical value, but they have sentimental value to people. So we'll see some collecting, but yeah, again, those old high prices, there'll be a point where people are like, I love it, but I don't love it that much. I'm just going to do the right click save thing. So I think a lot of them, that's their fate. It's funny, in hindsight, I guess it was obvious even then, 10K is just way too big. Like 10K collections are way too big. And that's something that's happened recently that I do like, is collections releasing with much smaller sizes. That was something I loved about the Kongs to start, is their size was small, like a 1K collection. To me, that makes more sense if you want to actually build something that has demand. We don't have enough people that there's demand for a 10K collection. Somebody made a comment on a video of mine about the Fuocious Mint. It's like a 20K collection. There's no demand for stuff like that. There's nothing rare about it, and they feel a lot less special when, I don't know, it feels like a quarter of the entire NFT population can have one. So supply is an issue still. It really is. There's so many damn NFTs, dude.
I've been highly critical of that idea, by the way. And yeah, Cats, you jump in here. Hang on, I'm just minting my Trekkie right now, which I can't believe I'm doing it.
Oh, man.
You know what? After that, what was the one the other day? The
Michelin
that we both were like, oh, we're gonna do it, we're not gonna do it, and then to see it pump, and it's like, really, So I don't know why. Not that Trekkie is, on the same path, but I got regrets, and so there we go. I just minted it.
There you go. How many are there of those? Was it like 5K?
No, 8,888.
How far gone are they?
They're really gone. There's 90, almost 4% minted out.
Shit.
So I don't know. And since I was on the trip list, I minted 0.078, which is a little cheaper than whatever they call the adoption list, which I think was like 0.09. So.
Oh wow! Oh, they're not cheap. Okay.
No, I know.
Wow.
I've looked at it. I think you get your mint price back in credits to use on their platform. So I don't think there's a lot of risk if you actually go and book a trip on Trip.com, a flight or a car or a hotel or something.
That's interesting. Okay, I guess I didn't wrap my head around the project. That's really cool. If in a way that's money you put towards something in the future, so you can look at it almost as free.
Yeah. The negative is, it gives you some diamond or platinum level on Trip.com, but that expires in 1 year unless you book a certain number of trips. So I don't know.
Yep.
It seems like it has waning utility, but I don't really know.
Yeah. Cats, what are you thinking about all this?
Well, no, I actually completely agree with Gravity. And I mean, look, NFT, we've talked about it for a long time. NFTs are not going to be what they were. I agree with the mania that we had, and the next bull run's not going to be like that. It's not going to be just flexing PFPs and all that. It's, okay, what companies have built now? And I think the unique part of this space is the ability to collaborate. Because, I don't know that the Amazons of the world, like he was talking about, were building alongside other people. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But this space, man, we're used to community. We're used to, open source code stuff that we're sharing, technology. We're all learning together and coming up together, right? That's kind of the beauty of this space that I see. And so projects are doing that. And that's why, the stuff I DM'd you yesterday was an illustration of that, because I think that's where these companies are going to succeed long term. So I'm just going to read from the founder, so what Valeria was doing in that space yesterday and talking about just different stuff. And they were talking about our token, which is bridgeable everywhere, was layer 0. So a different company that helped them build that. The marketplace was from Snag and Reservoir. The contracts were from Limit Break. The team is connected to all these people and trailblazing through that. And they're being the first to implement a lot of the tech and concepts. And then Helica Analytics, they got to do their incentive structures. And then they're using, Magic Link and stuff for easy onboarding. they're using what's there, and they're collaborating with other people. They're not doing it all themselves, right? And so those type of companies that are taking all this technology is being built, right? But if it's being built in a silo, it doesn't do us any good. And so if all this is being built and the technology is there for mass adoption, well, use it, and there are projects that are doing that. And I think that's what you're going to see. And I don't think it's in the multiple years time frame. I think in 2024 you're going to see like this stuff's going to come out. And the thing for mass adoption, I've said since Top Shot and that we've talked about, is it's not going to be NFTs. You're not going to know it's an NFT. You're not going to know you're interacting with the blockchain. That's all going to be the back end stuff. It's going to be really easy. It's going to make sense to a common user who's never had any crypto or blockchain, experience. And that's what's being built right now in a lot of places. And that's what makes sense to me, man. Like, that's why I think there's a lot of excitement being built, because this stuff's here. It's not in theory anymore. It exists. And it's being polished right now for the final product. And that final product's being pushed. And that's what's got me super excited and feeling bullish.
And so degens are still going to want to degen. What do you think of, have you looked at the flooring protocol? Is it flooring.io? Have you guys looked at that?
I haven't, because I'm not one that has expendable money that I'm going to go get. That's for the fractured stuff, right? Or I don't care to own a piece of a Bored Ape, just me personally. But no, I think it's also a cool technology that, like you said, if you want to degen.
It just gets me thinking, it's like you were saying that NFTs, the mass, when they're mass adopted, it's not going to look like what we just saw the past couple of years. And I guess that could mean that we're not going to see the prices that we used to, but would we in certain collections where people are trading them like crypto, where they basically are like meme coins, which they can get those insane market caps like in an instant, like overnight. And now you've got that, and I guess technically this isn't new, but now you have that within specific collections, and in theory that could drive up the prices of those to astronomical levels. I'm kind of shocked looking at that platform, seeing how much money was thrown at Bored Apes yesterday, like $3.5 million in 24 hours on a brand new platform that most people still don't know exists. They are not even invested in it yet. But you can buy these pieces of a Bored Ape or a Pudgy Penguin or an Azuki or Ute for like literally pennies. So I always thought NFTs would end up being traded more like meme coins, because they are like, they're shit coins. 99% of them are pure shit coins. This lets you trade them like shit coins, right? These fractions are just crypto, and it gives you that action, that stuff you were chasing normally, on the DeFi side of things, gives you it right in NFTs. So I do wonder if we go the, pure collectible route and we go the gaming asset route, and then we've got separately this being the primary way people do their degenning. I'm not trying to, downplay your thing, but this is not something new. This has existed for a couple of years. I mean, this platform's new, but right, like, think back to the. Yeah, I'm like this. Yeah, right. So even when we got into Penelope's, man, like, all of us went to that pool, and you could buy tokens. You could buy part of one until you could afford to get up to enough to actually pull one of the entire PERS out of the pool. It's the same thing. Like, we were buying fractionalized pieces of it back then. And there was all kinds of projects on that. I just don't know that the degen population is large enough to, I don't know, really make a big difference when it comes to fractionalization stuff. But I mean, it definitely could. I just don't think that's the moving forward aspect of the space. Well, I'll tell you why I think I agree with that. And then the counter argument, and it's a coin flip. It's a who freaking knows, but it's the wash trading that we saw on Blur, because it was incentivized, right? What is this? 11 billion in a single month of wash trading. And again, the $1 billion, sometimes multi-billion-dollar market caps of those meme coins. Well, I guess what it comes down to is, if there's profits in it, Like if it's rewarding for people, they'll do it. I think it's almost that simple. So I'm keeping my eye on it just because it's definitely an X factor, like Friendtech, like those SoFi platforms. Spidey sense is going off. There's something else bubbling up here next to NFTs. Like it touches NFTs. It's not quite NFTs, but there's something there. Again, as long as those platforms are rewarding, there's a chance.
And I think that is the long-term issue, though. Kind of like Gravity was talking about in why that bubble burst. If it's all degens who are just looking, like all these things that come out, like, people are smart. They find a way to extract all the money out of it. Well, if you don't have long-term revenue sources, like that model can't last. That's why, PFP projects couldn't last because, okay, we sold a mint for $10 million. Well, now what? We didn't know how to do anything else.
Right.
Like they didn't have a company built with a long-term revenue source. And so,
but Cats, we're building. It's all you got to do is say we're building.
Yeah, right. But I'm just saying, like, even with stuff like this, yeah, okay, the whole thing with degens is degens know how to extract that money, and they ain't putting it back in.
Man,
they're going to move it somewhere else.
They're fucking cold-blooded killers. The way they play
right.
these things is so good.
So I guess that's my point of view. Is like, yeah, it could be a thing, it could be a fad, it could be something cool for the moment, but I just don't like. People are extractors, man, and so if you don't have a base that's going to not just extract, then I don't know how it lasts.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to walk us through the top 10 on Crypto Slam. Sly's watching, by the way. What's up, Sly? Always good to see you, man. Yeah, let's walk through the top 10, and then I've got some pretty cool stories, a lot of art, and I do think art's a lot of what's driving what's happening right now. I think a lot of this can be attributed right to Rafiq. We'll touch on art stuff, though. But top 10 collections, D-Market. Counter-Strike Go gaming skins are just, I don't know, people still don't realize that's what's happening there and how big of a deal that is. But it's happening, and it is a big deal. 1.5 mil, that's almost on a daily basis. They're over $1 million in gaming skins. And again, it's a little hint, it's a little taste of what's coming here. It's here, but, a taste of what's coming in the next year or two. Kind of still waiting, hoping whatever that Grand Theft Auto's got a little something in that world, in the crypto world, and just blows the doors wide open. But like, just interesting to watch it now. Bored Ape, they've got Ape Fest coming up in a couple weeks. I don't know, nothing really important there. Gods Unchained, CryptoPunks. Panini's got some new sports cards. I didn't see what kind of packs they had dropped, but that's good, pure collectible NFT cards. Those do well, again, when they have big pack drops. Azuki had their Garden Passport. They've got 5 community events going on all around the world. Open edition NFTs that are minted at each. Pretty cool, again, going back to our conversation about community being the lifeblood of collections. It is. It's the only reason Azuki has value, in my opinion. I think they're a perfect example of we're building, and I don't know what they're building exactly beyond a community, and that's, in a way, all you really need here. Sorare, I'll just blow through the rest of these. Sorare, Soul Casino, Winds of Yawanawa, fucking gorgeous collection. And Potatoes at 10. Sorare I thought was interesting this week. Those are also sports collectibles, but they're fantasy sports, like DraftKings. You buy these NFTs, you assemble teams, you compete weekly. Highest on the leaderboard wins cash prizes, and not small prizes, not just $1,000 or $2,000. Some of these guys are winning like $100,000 if you finish a season at the top. So that's also a taste of what's to come. Now in France, and I know you guys probably saw the video, but France passed, not officially a law, but it passed one portion of their, I don't know what their process is, but it passed somewhere, the French assembly. It's called the Sorare Law, just saying that NFT games are not betting. So they're going to have all different rules. It really has me thinking that I think that betting platforms are going to transition, not fully, but in a big way to play to earn. The model's too exciting. There's too many young people coming up that maybe aren't into sports exactly, but they're into gaming mechanics, game theory, and making money off of it. So I think a lot of these betting platforms are seeing Sorare and they're seeing DraftKings, and they probably want to get a little taste of that. And I guess maybe Soul Casino is lumped in there. That is a pure betting site, but it is betting on games. So basically in the top 11, we have 3 gaming, betting, gambling NFT platforms. I think that's absolutely, again, a taste of what's to come. Really interesting to see 3 of them that high, though. All right. Panini, I was going to dive in and see what was actually selling there. I don't care. I like those guys, though. They have a good product. Art. The thing that I think is really driving the conversation and the momentum this week, I don't think anything that's happening right now is sustainable. I don't think this has legs. I think it's just people being excited about art. They're big sales usually, right? And that gets people excited and it gets people thinking that we're back instead of what it really is. Rich people buying really small NFT collections, and it's kind of that simple. This, things are exciting for a bit and they fizzle out, and we see this happen time and time again. But there were just a few really major mints in the past few weeks, also in the past few months, Rafik especially with that Winza Yawanawa. Again, I think that's what's driving most of this. Do you guys know William Mapan? God, I'm so bad with names, which is not a good mix for talking about people. But did you guys see this drop?
I think I saw some of the artwork, but I didn't actually read anything about it. I just saw that one thing, and I was like, oh, wow, is that someone's kid who crayoned that?
Are you a generative art guy or not so much?
I am, and I played around with P5, and when art blocks started out, I got into P5, but that's kind of fallen off, and I'm back to hand-drawn illustration.
Okay. All right. Well, so William, he made his name on art blocks. Anti-Cyclones was his biggest collection there. He's kind of grown into a dude, and I'd say especially a year or two ago, he was the dude for a short bit. Over on FX Hash, he had a collection that's probably it's in the top 5 all time. It might be as high as 2 or 3, to be honest. If I take Zancan out of the mix, he might be the most valuable collection over there. So again, he's a guy that people are definitely watching and always waiting for his next mint. He did something smart that also ties into what we talked about earlier, supply being an issue. He minted a collection over on Verseworks. Great platform, by the way. Tiny collection, 64 editions, and that's the right way to do this. That's the right way to drive up excitement. And, if anybody's wondering if that works, if the small collection size works with something that already has demand, it really works. 64 editions, they were mint passes. Now, all of them were auctions. I think the lowest bid is what the collection sells at. So I think the lowest bid came in at, I think, $10,000 or $11,000. So he sold a 64 edition collection for, let's just say $10,000 to keep it simple. Dude made over $500,000 in just a few days. I know he puts a lot more time than that into his work, but showing that the model works. It keep these collections small, and it's absolutely going to work and keep the it keeps the momentum going for you. That's for sure. It's a good looking collection. I'm with you as far as the look of it. I've never really understood the very simple, I guess, outputs like this. At the same time, it took me a while to understand trash art and like really low effort art, and it did click. I do get it, but there's something about these that don't get me emotionally when it, like this look right here. When it looks like I could doodle it. I know there's something to do with, the algorithm, how hard it is to make an algorithm make something like that and to make a collection where each piece feels unique and looks unique. But again, this collection, it didn't do anything for me. Somebody tweeted out, which of you was generating over 1,000 editions or outputs of this? I'm that guy. I sit with these things for hours and I just click refresh or output, and I cycle through to understand the algorithm, to understand what in a way, what message they're trying to get across. I never got it with this collection. I think it's pretty, but I don't understand this one. Maybe it clicks later on, but
I wasn't aware that was actually a generative work, and that actually impresses me a little bit more. People don't realize that these things, if you run that exact program with that hash number again, you get that exact output. And when you have that level of detail in something, it's pretty amazing, what's under the hood to go ahead and generate with all that little sketch marking there. I'd like to see what the algorithm was that generated that.
Like dive into the code itself, because you're a coder, right? You would probably understand it a little differently.
A little, but yeah, that guy's on another plane. And actually, some of the works I do like. That last one there, the green, the sort of different shades of jade. I do find it interesting, and I find it something that is you haven't seen before. And if nothing else, if you can at least do that in artwork, then you are actually creating something.
That's an important part. It's, are you offering something unique? And again, that could be the output, it could be the palette, it could be the code itself. And people really do value that. I wonder, though, how many people buying this actually understand it. In fact, Matt Cain's drop last week, maybe it was the week before, but his contractual obligation collection, man, it really showed me that a lot of people collecting art still don't quite get art. And I don't want to speak like, I don't want that to sound like I understand it at a level, because I'm still learning. I'm new to this too. Like, I'm new to art in the past couple of years, but I did grow to understand that at its simplest, it's just there to make you feel something. So some people, a lot of people were really upset at Matt Cain because they looked at what he did as low effort. He was putting out some AI generated stuff. And, yeah, again, it just made me think that a lot of people spending big bucks on this are still doing it because it's speculative, nothing more, right? I think they're caught up in the romantic side of art, and maybe not much more than that. So I don't know if we have that going on here with William, because I think technically, like on a technical level, I think his art is different and special.
Is William's stuff AI generative, or is it P5 or whatever programming generative?
Yeah, I don't know what language. It's pure generative. It's pure code.
Okay.
There's no AI in what he does.
Well, yeah, that impresses me.
Yeah, he's really great. I maybe another time. Still thinking about doing separate, like, one-off videos about specific topics, and I do want to do one on generative art. I couldn't do that without talking about him. He is that significant in the generative art world now. Not quite at like the Snowfro level. Maybe, you know what? Maybe he's at the Zancan level. Like, they do different things. They have kind of a different audience. He's up there, though. He's in the top, I would say, top 10 or so generative artists that are on the blockchain. Like, he is a special dude. And yet, honestly, because of that, and just knowing how collectors trade and collect and the kind of value that comes to these things, I think all his stuff is actually undervalued. So even at 10K as the floor price on these, actually, they're probably up on secondary higher than that. I actually legitimately think these are undervalued because the edition size is so small. Which, that's kind of crazy to think about. I thought that about Rafiq's Winds of Yawanawa. I didn't even think it. I knew it. To my core, I believed that collection was going to be a 20 ETH floor collection, and I still think that in the future. But man, if I had 3 ETH a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this point, absolutely would have bought that. Like, so sure about where that's going. And dude, it's 10 ETH floor now. Multiple sales over 20 ETH in that collection. So yeah, dude, the art stuff's exciting right now, for sure. And again, that is what's driving all the hype right now. It's just art. It's people seeing others have some big gains in art, and they're screaming, "We're back!" And we're just, oh, dude, this is a perfect example. I'm going to circle back to it, but again, people are screaming, "We're back!" And then XCopy mints a new NFT, right? He's got Algo Bro, which is hilarious. At the same time, I don't get XCopy still. I've never quite got it. I think it's cool as shit. Okay, wait. Let me back that up. It's not that I don't get it. It's like the value in some of this stuff is just how influential they are, right? And I think that's XCopy's thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, and if maybe you have a better understanding of XCopy's work. His stuff is influential. Like, it was fresh, it was exciting, it was driving, people to art in the peak of like this NFT craze. And he just became a dude because he's different, because also, as shitty as this might sound, there's a bit of right place, right time, right? He was making this kind of art in a community of people who have a lot of money during that peak bull market, right? And I think a lot of his success came because of that. His stuff is cool as shit, though, but do you have thoughts on XCopy?
You know, here's what I would say. And I'm not too deep on his work, but the one thing is it's completely recognizable. You know it's an XCopy, unless it's someone else doing a derivative. But if they do a derivative, then you go, oh, that's a direct derivative of XCopy. And so I think any time that any artist makes something where you can recognize that it's their own voice, that by itself has its own value. And it probably is a combination of being in the right place at the right time that he did that, but he is glitch art. And so I think that has its own weight and significance within art collectors and the art world.
Do you know what changed my mind about that specifically? That he is the glitch art guy, and why I lean a little more into the right place, right time. So I love that Hateroka dude. Like, he's my favorite. He's kind of my favorite artist, I'll say it, but especially glitch art, trash art, that whole scene. I learned from him that Xcopy and Hateroka and probably a few dozen other guys, they were all kind of their own small community making exactly this type of art over on Tumblr 10 years ago. So
Wow.
Xcopy is the one getting the attention and getting the sales and the big money stuff. But, oh, cool. I see in our chat we've got another idiot in here. What's up? Give me the loot from Coliseum. Okay, good shit. I think I know who you are. So while he's the guy getting all the attention and the accolades and all that stuff, there's so many other people that were doing exactly that. He blew up. And look, somebody's got to be the one, right? It's not his fault, but I know there's so many other guys out there doing very similar stuff. Maybe it just didn't resonate with people the same. Maybe he's fantastic at marketing, and he's probably all of that. But I look at his stuff and I'm like, I love it, but I wonder if other people know the full story too, right? That
Yeah,
was a whole
it's
scene.
a genre, that was created, and I guess that you're right. There was a colony of artists that were doing it, but it's like one artist becomes the face of the genre, kind of like in an impressionism, it's Monet. Well, there's 100 or 1,000, contemporaries that were really good and amazing, but he just becomes this sort of cultural, nameplate of the genre, and Xcopy's done that, and so if the genre is real, and the genre is real, it probably sticks around.
There's some mystique to him too, and there's a lot to say for that. So, man, I have so many thoughts about him. Well, one of these, and I'll go back to his mystique, but one of them is the community. There's this core community. We know him, right? Like, some people call him the Wagme Cabal, but there's this core community of very, very wealthy collectors. And it's almost like once you get in with them, you're set. You can just put out stuff whenever you want, and you're going to make a fortune off of it. He's in that group. I don't know if he started in that group. I kind of think he did because he was so early to NFTs, but part of it is just the crowd he runs with. And I see other artists that take off because they're with that crowd, because Proof Collective talks about them, because their art is, featured in the, Proof Grails collection. There's some crazy good art out there that's just not getting attention because it's not part of that crowd, right? And that's kind of all it takes sometimes too. That's not ultimately like my take on Xcopy. Again, I think he is significant, but there's a little bit of that to him. There's just a little bit of, I guess, still right place, right time, right crowd. He's got a perfect combo. He's got everything going right, I guess, which is cool. Now the mystique, I think this part's actually really cool. He drops Algo Bro. Dude, for 2 days, I can't figure out where it is on Manifold. And maybe this is me just being an idiot, and that's probably most likely here, but on Twitter, he doesn't post a link to it that I saw. I've been looking. He doesn't post a link to the art. I Google it and can't find it anywhere. It's nowhere on his profile. I don't know how to even get to this. I found it once because somebody tweeted it in a reply to one of his posts. But other than that, dude, I don't know where it is, and that adds to again the romantic side of it. He's an expert at that shit. I want to find this thing because I don't even think this is technically for sale yet. A few people do own it. I don't know how they got it, but I don't think it's for sale. Just minted. Maybe 3 of them are in other wallets, but I don't know, dude. Fascinating at the very least. Check this out. Okay, so going back to maybe Rafiq and just kind of what's going on in art and kind of why I don't think it's super sustainable. This collection right here from Milk. All right, I don't know a ton about him. I saw this piece, didn't think much of it because I guess you spend enough time on these platforms, and especially like FX Hash, where some, lower tier artists, that sounds shitty, but lower tier artists are minting work. And I feel like I see stuff like this every day, especially in kind of our peak market, this kind of stuff all the time. So I saw this drop, didn't even consider minting it. Now it minted at 0.05, took days to sell out. Dude, this hit a 0.4 something ETH floor just yesterday. This is that hype, and this, oh God, it's 4.5 right now? Or I'm sorry, 0.45. Wow, almost half an ETH. This is people, I think, just chasing, right? This is people thinking we're back, and they're buying into that shit that people are talking about on X. I'm worried. Like this is exactly what I think is not sustainable. Really cool art. Now, when I click into it, it's better than I thought. Like I didn't realize it's animated. I didn't realize this plays on the Rafik, kind of motion AI stuff, like it does. It is pretty. But but again, I'm just urging caution out there because I don't know that we're seeing anything new really. This is really pretty though. Wow.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I will say that if I was going to predict another bubble, it'll happen in the AI generative space. There's, the barrier to entry collapsed, and you're going to see a tsunami of this, onto the market. So there's only so much it can sustain. Now I must say that's really great. I have no idea how it's created in a way, but I'd be pretty hesitant, to get too far over your skis on this one.
Yep. God, the more I look at them, I mean, they are beautiful. Maybe smaller issues here. They're additions. So each of these outputs, I believe, are additions of 10. So that's going to limit it a little bit. Total collection size is 1,000. Yeah, I don't know that this gets so much higher because of that. Like if we use Rafik's Winds of Yahweh now as our measuring stick, that's 1,000 additions, 10th floor. I can't picture this even getting to a 10th of it because same size, but also again the multiple additions. Somebody that knows math could probably actually map this out, predict it out, and see what maybe what floor these should have. But ultimately, the point is, I think a lot of chasing, a lot of people thinking we're back. I think a lot of people about to get wrecked. Now here's the counter argument, and there is a legit good counter argument here. It's getting back to the numbers, all right? So all month long, we've been talking about Uptober or Floptober, and I've been saying Floptober, but check this out. Probably got to go monthly view here. All right. So we know second half of the year is always straight downhill, right? Like sales just decline until we hit January, which I don't know about you, but I'm still thinking January is going to be a rocket. Maybe not to the extent we saw last year and the year before, but I do think we take off. But last year, October was actually the bottom of the market. So we declined. I think we had an 8 or 9 month decline. Let's say 8 to be safe here. October was the lowest point of the year. Now the year before, not the lowest. November was actually the lowest. So we're right in that sweet spot of, is this our floor? Is this where we're going to springboard off of? Or do we have further to fall? And I guess this is where the energy in Bitcoin and I guess maybe some of the excitement around NFTs right now might make this the bottom. All we have to do is kind of keep up this, this level for the next, end of October. We've got, I guess, 2.5 months, just a little over 2 months for this to go. So can this excitement carry and sustain us to January where I think we do take off? I don't know. I guess my point is I think there's potential for this to maybe be the bottom. If some more exciting stuff comes out, where do you fall on that? Do you think October is the bottom, and do you think we call it a Floptober?
That's a huge guess. The thing is about this index is I think it's got so much dead weight in it, that it's hard to sort of see the index doing well overall. But in terms of, I definitely think the whole NFT space is really washed out. And this feels like a general bottom, where you've got negativity at a peak, you've got pricing that is bottomed, and now you're seeing projects that have more value than they cost. And people are sort of not leaping on it at first. It takes a little time. And then they go, oh my God, yeah, this is really something happening here. So I think that we're bottoming or at a bottom. As far as up, I kind of feel up is predicated on those two things that I mentioned. And one is crypto generally providing more liquidity to the whole space. And two, really the new level of innovation or at least execution for projects in general.
Yep. Okay. Well, I guess we wait and see what happens if something exciting comes along to springboard us up a little bit. This could be something. This could be something that brings a little excitement, especially if you're not looking at your screen. I'm showing the Bored Ape Open House, which is coming in. Is this 2 weeks off? November 5th. This is happening in Hong Kong. I've heard rumors from our buddy Moisty that they may actually launch the other side in some capacity. I've not heard that from anybody else. I don't know if you've heard that, or Cats, if you've heard it. That would be something, well, that would be a really big deal for the space in general. If we get a metaverse that can hold that, like it can hold 100,000 people in an instance, that would be a major deal for NFTs. That would, to me, mark the bottom of the market for this year, if that goes live in any form. And Yuga Labs did say, hey, if you can't make the trip all the way to Hong Kong, don't worry. You can still attend Ape Fest. I saw that myself somewhere. I don't know if it's a tweet, in a reply, in some communication, but it's really got me thinking something might happen here, and that would be a really big deal for the space. Any insights from you on it?
I
know nothing Yuga related, so I'm not the one to ask.
Dude, speaking of bleeding out, though, there's nobody bleeding out more than these guys, right?
Yeah, I'd say there's, in these kind of things, where people are sort of hyped up for the highest expectation, there's just only room for disappointment to me. Now, the good news is much of the downside has been taken out of the market as, things are down 90%. But so I would say, how much disappointment can really impact things in the Yuga space. But I would still be leery, that there's room for disappointment.
In Yuga specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually agree. I don't know, man. My views change so much of all this stuff. Like, I don't know that metaverse is going to be a thing this upcoming year. I think it's still way in the future. And I know you're a huge AR, VR guy, and that technology is coming along. I just don't think we're there yet. Like, we're there on other technologies. I don't think we're there yet for mass adoption of that. And if you have a metaverse that is token gated, it's just so limited. And everybody, and I agree with Gravity again. Like, okay, if crypto skyrockets and all these degens have money again, then yeah, we'll see a big up. But I think it's for long term. I don't think we can depend on crypto going up for degens to support rising numbers. I think you got to get Web 2 people into these spaces too, and you can't do that with token gated metaverses. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah. I just don't think we're there yet.
Agreed. It's why I think AR, VR, probably VR more specifically, is the key to building something sustainable that is much larger. That's with the metaverse too. I think when people feel like they're in it and that it's not going away, and this isn't the fatty metaverse, that there's going to be, the metaverse that everybody goes to, like whether it's a version of Meta's metaverse or if it's other side or whoever, I think that's where we have to get to ultimately get to, the not the peak, but like the future. I'll call it even the floor of what it's going to be in the future. But like, Yuga has a big problem here. I've talked about it a few times. I don't know if people still really know this, but Yuga Labs tech, like what we're looking at here, it's not theirs. Like, yes, this is their version of it. They've skinned it. They've built this. But the tech behind it comes from M Squared, and I'm trying to remember the name of the parent company. Improbable, I think is what it's called. They build this engine that anyone can use. So just maybe a month ago, Major League Baseball put out their own version of it. They had a couple ballparks. Tens of thousands of people, I believe, were able to join that too. That, to me, is what the metaverse is going to be, kind of instances of this tech. But, yeah, I guess it shouldn't be assumed that Yuga Labs' other side will be the one, again, because the tech is there for anyone. And anybody can pop up their own in an instant. Like, you could, the same way I can just go live on YouTube and I have my own channel, right? You can probably, with a few clicks of a button, pop up your own metaverse for an event. Like, guys, you want to hang out tonight and just shoot the shit? And instead of going in Discord voice chat, we go in one of these improbable M Squared metaverses. And if you got a big community, picture like Meme Land or Valeria, any community with thousands of people, you pop up your own metaverse in an instance. Like, why do you need to go to Yuga Labs? So I don't know. Part of me thinks that they are going to have, I don't know, the future like Sandbox had. We talk about it, we talk about it, we talk about it, and it's out in a form, but it never really becomes a thing. And Sandbox is a whole other story, dude. I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going on with them and when they're going to actually have something out, but I think they're, I guess, a perfect example of how these metaverses might actually play out, right? Just they may never be anything. I guess Second Life playing out all over again, right? That's why it's kind of why I think Grand Theft Auto may be that X factor. Okay, picture this. If Grand Theft Auto does a persistent online open world thing, right? Not little small servers with 16 or 32 people, but instead these servers with thousands of people, and you just pop in and out whenever. Dude, that's the game changer. Come on, Rockstar.
Yeah, definitely. That's and that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be called a metaverse. Like, it's even okay. So that would be on. I don't know. My whole focus is shifting in a lot of ways. Like marketplaces. I haven't really heard a lot of talk about this, but I don't. OpenSea and the stuff they're doing. I just any of these big companies that are going to survive. I mean, you guys talked about going away from OpenSea once the royalty or creator fee thing changes in February or whatever.
Well,
and they just did this with Valeria, and honestly, dude, it's kind of opened my eyes because again, Web 2 people, they don't know to go to an OpenSea, but if they're playing one of these NFT games, they don't know that they're NFT games. They're used to going to a website or an app, and if that marketplace is within that, like it just makes sense. Like, why do I need to go to a third-party place when I can just go just be on the marketplace of the thing I'm playing?
Exactly. Yes, dude, that is the future. It's not going to be centralized marketplaces. They'll be great. They'll always be around. But projects will have their own marketplaces. They'll have their tokens locked to those marketplaces, like Not Larva Labs, the marketplace for crypto funks and I think V1 punks there. That was a taste of what's coming. Valeria's showing, I think they're a shining beacon now. They are the North Star with their own currency, with land, with all their mechanics revolving around their token and their own marketplace to do all of that on. That is the future of all this stuff, man. It is. And by the way, Yuga Labs already started their shift away from OpenSea. Their last collection, I think it's the Mara NFTs, the Legend of the Mara. Those NFTs can't be traded on OpenSea at all. So they've already started moving away, which is fascinating. I kind of love it. I'm not the biggest Yuga Labs lover, but I love that move. I love that. I love sticking it to OpenSea, who has done very little to support projects and collections and builders. Man, how do you they just seem to make a mistake every step of the way. They cannot seem to get it right. It makes me question who's running the stuff there, right? Like, how Web3 are they? It's weird.
And the thing with Valeria and OpenSea ended up being about the token, but again, I understand all the security stuff. I understand all that. But when you have a project actually doing a true utility token, and of course, the community set up an LP, and so there's a dollar amount, but it has nothing to do with the team. The team literally put nothing to it. There are no VCs. That is just community funds, so they can trade with each other. But okay, so that token, all their stuff, like you said, their in-game assets are 1155 Cs. The only way you can buy, every other currency is blacklisted from the marketplace where you can buy that stuff. Correct. Wow. You can't buy an in-game asset for Valeria in ETH.
Holy shit.
You can buy their lands and you can buy the champions because those were ETH mints. But the actual pack drop that came yesterday, you can't buy in ETH.
Wow.
You have to buy it in vows.
That's so cool.
And they can do that with those 1155C contracts. And that's what they did. And that's what I'm saying. So literally, that's utility for the token. The only way you can get this stuff is if you have that token. And they made a bridge for it and all the stuff that's on the website. I mean, but that's what it just opened my eyes to all this. I'm like, dude, this is. And again, they talked about revenue sources. The only way to pull long-term revenue to your company is to force people to come through your company to get stuff. And if it's all through your own marketplace, through your own token. Everything you want. I mean, now the game itself, and again, that's all back-end stuff, right? Because the game itself is free to play, free to download in the App Store, get it on Apple, Android, all that stuff when it becomes public.
I was just going to ask if that's out now to play. It's not, right?
Not yet. The private beta starts next week. The private Discord beta starts in November. And then the tournament's probably going to be December or January, depending on how the beta testing goes. But again,
They
you know,
are
it's one of those
freaking
things
primed.
like, oh, I know. I'm telling you, dude, so bullish. Like getting those packs yesterday, I'm just like, man. And it's all been seamless, dude. And they airdrop all this stuff. They airdrop the tokens, they airdrop the packs because they use, you know, of all the Biconomy they're using, all these stuff, the gas stations. It's crazy. They talked about how they could drop, I think, 10,000 assets cost them like $51. Doing 10,000 airdrops, like it's just crazy the tech they've brought along, and the developer's awesome. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, all this stuff is evolving. OpenSea is going to be irrelevant. I mean, it'll still be there, but like all the stuff that's really pushing forward is going to have their own marketplace.
Yep.
It's going to blacklist everybody else, and there's going to be no need for these other places for these projects that are going to have long-term revenue sources.
Yeah, all that matters for OpenSea, their viability in the future, how big they are. It's what matters is it's what you said. The fact that you can blacklist other marketplaces, who can OpenSea get as exclusives to drop on their platform and that you can only trade on their platform? Maybe they're big enough, and they probably are, where they're going to get some huge brands. They get, I don't know, I don't even know what names to throw out, but they get the next biggest thing, and it's only on OpenSea. That's how they can stay relevant in the future. But man, when you can create your own marketplace, like you can create your own crypto in a couple of hours, they're going to have a lot more trouble at that point. Like nothing would stop a brand at that point from just copy pasting their own contract, copy paste their own marketplace, copy paste their own crypto. Yeah, OpenSea is not necessarily going to be the place in the future, and maybe like as soon as next year, especially with stuff like, I don't know, it's what we talked about at the beginning, like people kind of moving from NFTs to these other type of assets to speculate on. OpenSea's utility, their use case is just going down and down as the days go. So the space next year, dude, I can't wait to see what it looks like. It's not gonna resemble what it looks like now or last year even. Give me the loot. What price would I consider a Bored Ape? Very seriously, 5 ETH. Like, I'm not kidding with that. But and there's a reason. I think Yuga Labs will end up minting another NFT that's not their kind of their core IP. You know, it's not going to be their focus anymore. In a way, I feel like Bored Apes are tapped out. Now, I think Bored Apes will get you access to whatever they do, like a mint pass to whatever's next. But I think so much damage was done to their brand from Ryder Rips and Polly and all that stuff, which I didn't realize this till recently. Like, I thought it didn't matter, that it bounced right off of them. But because YouTubers put that out there, and millions and millions of people who are not in NFTs yet, in their head, Bored Apes are racist. They won't go anywhere near them. Bored Ape we've had them try to partner with like esports brands. Nobody will touch them. They need to come up with a new IP that can really be the face, that can really be mass adopted. That's why I personally, I would say, I don't know that there is a price I would buy a Bored Ape at. At 5 ETH even, there's other stuff I would buy. Excuse me. There's other stuff I would buy, and it'd probably be Bored Ape's next NFT is what I would probably put that towards.
But let's be real. Bored Apes were not minted to be, you know, a mass adopted image. Like that was a culture thing. That was, you know, those ugly apes are not going to be mainstream. I mean, they got mainstream, but as far as long term, you know, and even hearing Luca talk about that, like, dude, I mean, the pudgy penguins are cute. Everybody loves cute. Cute goes to women, children, you know, anybody. Those ugly apes don't, you know.
You can't stick those in a Disney movie. You can't. Yeah, right. The Bored Apes they have a real problem. Now, I think they were hoping maybe Codas would be the next thing. I think they're too niche. Like, I think they're too gamey and like, I don't know that those will work. But like, I'll give Yuga Labs this: they're very, very smart. They got like those 4 guys that founded the project are smart guys. All the people they've brought in are marketing geniuses. They've got the best of the best, so I have no doubt they're going to come up with something that's perfect for marketing, that they put a lot of thought behind. And I'm sure they spent at least a year now thinking of what that next brand will be, and now they know the formula that works. They've got this war chest of money. They know they can probably drop a coin. I still don't know if that was legal, by the way. Like, I really think behind the scenes that, like, I'm sure. Well, okay, it's not even that I think. I'm pretty sure we already know the SEC is looking into them pretty heavily. I still wonder how legal that coin was, even though people say they didn't drop it. It was a whole other entity that dropped the coin. Yuga Labs has nothing to do with that. I think that's bullshit, kind of, and I don't think it matters. If they're promoting it, which they do, I think they can get wrecked because of that. So unless there's a changing of the guard at the NFC, at the SEC, and maybe at that point it matters a lot less. But as long as we got those people in power now, my gut tells me that Yuga Labs is going to be in big trouble. And we see that the SEC, when they go after these collections, they make you burn your assets. I don't know how many apes Yuga Labs hold still. I don't know how much ape coin they hold, but I don't know why that wouldn't be a real concern, that they may be forced one day to burn their entire supply of ape coin. They can say it's not theirs, but again, I know this for sure. If they're promoting it, they get in trouble for it. So, yeah, Yuga Lab stuff in general, I'm staying far away from. I have one Yuga asset, which is the land. That's it. And kind of talking about supply too. They just keep adding more and more and more. They added a whole something else new to the collection. I think that's coming really soon. This is the Legend of the Mara, but they're adding spaceships. It makes sense, right? They're trying to build out their world and their ecosystem, and they got all kinds of characters, and now they're going to have vehicles. But at some point, man, especially at the prices, which are fucking crazy, still so unrealistic with prices across the board. That's not a comment on Yuga Labs. That's just NFTs, and it's a lot of why I think we have much further to fall still. It's still everything overpriced, and we don't see minting out. I guess I'm shocked by the Michelin thing, unless they cut that off early, but Rec League didn't mint out. Going back even further, CyberKongs didn't mint out. Kaiju Kings didn't mint out. What are some other big collections that didn't even finish minting? There were plenty, I'm sure, right? And a lot of that's to do with the prices. That's ultimately the point. Too many NFTs, way too expensive still. These ships, if it weren't Yuga Labs, man, they should be $25. $50 maybe, and if they're not airdropped, they're probably going to be a quarter ETH or something, which it's just in the good old days that was fine. That wasn't a lot when everybody was sitting on stacks and piles of ETH, but now it's just
to me though,
it's breaking the space.
And again, I hate to go back to Valeria, but I just think they're doing everything exactly right. They are hitting it out of the park. Okay, if you've got these spaceships and stuff, you want people using them so that they can play the game, right? Is that the theory behind this? I know nothing about these.
Yeah, I would assume so. I'm with you.
So,
I don't know, but yeah.
Your in-game assets can't be expensive if you want people to be able to acquire and use them. They just dropped, Valeria just dropped millions of packs that hold 3 characters or weapons or whatever each, for free, and every landowner gets a pack per week. Just to put more into the ecosystem. That's all free.
I love that.
It's free because they need people to play the game. They need people to have assets. Now there's a marketplace where you can trade. You can literally trade them for free too. And that's why I was telling, they're going to have faction battles. I was talking about the other day. I want to have an idiots faction. I'm going to send you all some packs just so we can play together. Yes. Because you can build teams, and then if you win your battle, you get a point for your faction, Yep. And you got to build teams and level up stuff, but that's all free assets, and you can trade them with each other on the marketplace. You can just do a 1-for-1 trade that doesn't cost anything because they cover all the gas.
I'll tell you this: my favorite thing they're doing is something. It's something that excited me the most about NFTs early on, driving value to your early supporters, and Yuga Labs did that too. It's the people who mint your NFT, everything goes through them, right? They get the airdrops of the token. If you want the token, you got to buy it off them. Valeria did that. If you want the new asset, well, the first minters are getting that. Pixel Vault, as much as I pile on them too, that's something they nailed too. Every drop, well, their holders got those first, and often they were free. That's the way to do it, and that's a model that has proven over and over again to work. So I do like that about, I was going to say Yuga Labs. I don't think they no, they do that still, don't they? I was going to say I don't think they do that anymore, but they do. Valeria is putting on a masterclass in that. That's the way that works. Make it free, drive it through your holders, let them sell it. If somebody's making money, let it be them. Your money comes down the road, right? As a project, you're going to make money from marketing. You'll make it from the VC investors down the road if you even need it. And on your own marketplace, you can get those royalties. So that's the model that works. Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, we got a couple people watching now. Anybody who does not know the Valeria game, look them up. Cats, like, even if you're able to drop a link in the chat, they are special. They are different. If I were sitting on a pile, I would be putting quite a bit there. Honestly, they're different. They're going to be a big name coming up. I'm going to move on to non-gaming stuff, just some quick topics, and then we probably will wrap soon. I fucking love this though. This is making me want to do the live show on the weekends, to be honest. So I saw a tweet last night. This is pretty insignificant, but cool at the same time. This is another NFT collection that's now at Walmart. It's actually coffee, which I think is awesome, right? But NFT branded stuff, super freaking cool. I don't know what Sergeant Pepe World really is. I never heard of them before. But you can get some cold brew coffee now with like an NFT character or brand on it. And maybe it's not the most special thing. We've got Bored Ape t-shirts at Walmart too, which my wife saw somebody out in the wild wearing a Bored Ape shirt, and she went up to him. She's like, do you have a Bored Ape? Do you collect NFTs? And he doesn't. He just bought it at Walmart, knows nothing about it really, but really wild seeing all this, you know, NFT IP showing up in the real world. It is exciting. Like, we've definitely, I think, rounded a corner on the, I guess on the IP front, right? It's pretty cool to see. All right, this I was looking forward to talking about. I don't remember if either of you are sneakerheads, but two big sneaker events in the past week. The Nike Forge, what is it called, man? It's so confusing. The Nike Dunk Forge Shoe Building Vial. I don't know what the fuck it's called, but this is it. The Cats, did you see these shoes at all this week? Oh, he's gone. He might have been on a phone too. He may be dead. So join if you're able, if you're back. Give me the loot, by the way, man. Long term, there will be some kind of idiots NFT. I don't know if it'll be my, you know, this inside NFT thing. It could be. Oh, dude, I think Gravity's gone too, which is okay. I'll kind of see this through here. There will be. We're planning it for the next run. We're going to do an NFT of some sort, like not anything with utility other than maybe access to the Discord, but we've always thought of doing this. We've got enough between Henry and myself. We've got enough reach, and it's just for fun. So yeah, nothing groundbreaking, but we've got some great friends that are pretty good, well-known artists too. Like, everything is lined up to do it and do it right and do it for fun. And honestly, like we were talking about driving value to your holders, we'll drive that to idiots. Like, whatever we do, I think it's a giveaway for idiots. And if people on the outside want in, that's how they get in. But anyway, shoes this week. Nike had 2 of them. I'm not really a shoe head. I've wanted to be. I just don't quite understand it. But the Dunk shoes are fucking awesome. And then they put out this teaser, this image yesterday of like a buffed pair. Now, they've done augmented reality before, and they've also done lights in their shoes. So I don't know if this is actually an image of what they're going to look like, or if this is AR sneakers, like your regular sneaker with an AR skin. But, dude, if these actually have these, like, teeth or horns in them, I absolutely would love a pair. Like, would love it. I think those look wild. Let me see if these show it off a little bit. Websites are so high-tech now. It's kind of wild. So I don't know how to even navigate this website. Okay, no idea. But if this is what the shoes look like, dude, I might buy one of the NFTs. They're like at 0.2 to get the NFT with the vial that lets you upgrade it, but that's wild looking, and I would absolutely wear that, and this is what excites me about the future. Whether that's real or whether that's augmented reality, that's cool shit. Nope, you get closed. Now, they had the other shoes, too. This was for Dot Swoosh. Now, if you open those OTF, is it OTP or OTF? But those early boxes of digital shoes, you had to have it. I think you had to crack the box open, but you get access to these Tina J sneakers, which do look really cool too. I wish they had a marketplace. Air Force Ones. Okay, if you had a box of those, you get access to these shoes. No marketplace, so if you didn't get in on the primary sale, you don't get them at all. You can't buy them, so hopefully you got a buddy that has the box that'll maybe buy you a pair. There's a lot of hype behind these too, and I need to really learn the sneaker market because I know there's really healthy secondary markets on them. So, man, if there's going to be exclusive shoes coming to the NFT space on a regular basis, which so far there has been, probably well worth investing in some of this stuff, honestly. Okay, anything else today? I think that mostly covers it. I'm going to show you guys something, though. Don't know if this is on anyone's radar yet. Yeah, dude, the dot swoosh shoes are they're incredible. They're really, really good looking. All of them. The digital ones are really cool. Dude, it was awesome seeing them show up in Fortnite. I wrote about those in an article, and I actually called them NFTs. This was cool to me, like just as a milestone that it happened, but I fucked up. So I wrote that Fortnite had NFTs in it because I read a tweet and the tweet was wrong, but the tweet made it sound like you, by playing the game and reaching a milestone, would get a dot swoosh shoe. So again, I wrote that Fortnite now has NFTs in a way. Like, I was clear it was on a different platform. Epic Games reached out to me and they're like, dude, there's no NFTs. We're not touching NFTs. There's nothing to do with NFTs here. So on one hand, I'm like, I felt awful that I fucked up. It was like a moment where, like the thing could have gotten eyes, and then getting an email like that made me feel awful that I fucked it up when I had that chance. But still, it was cool that Epic reached out and told me to fix my shit. It was cool. All right, check this out. This is called Particle Ink. This is wild. So I mentioned way earlier in this show that I'm an AR junkie. I love augmented reality and virtual reality. Like, big time collector over on VV. Actually, I haven't bought there in probably a year, but early on I spent thousands there. For whatever reason, augmented reality clicks, not just with me. So I would show people when I used to work in an office. I would tell them about NFTs. It didn't register, right? The whole idea of digital ownership doesn't make sense to most people. But when I pull up my VV app and I show my buddy, I give him my phone and he looks at it. I tell him to point it at me and look, and he sees Superman literally hovering in the air right next to me. That was cool, right? So it didn't teach him NFTs. It taught him that was cool. Like, a digital item could be cool. And then he goes, that's pretty cool. Like, how do I get one? And I tell him, you can't. The only way you can get one of these is buying it off somebody else on a secondary market, and there's only like 100 of these things. So if you want one right now, they're $10,000. And he's like, oh. Like, it clicked. That was a moment where it clicked for him. AR, VR is going to do that for a lot of people. It's going to make digital stuff, like, tangible. It's going to make it tangible for people when they see it in front of them. So you got that Quest 3. That's got a nice mix of, like, mixed reality or augmented reality, and it's a current iteration of that stuff. It's going to get so much better. Early next year, we got the Apple Vision Pro, and that's not going to be the one that drives it to the masses, but that's the start of it. When we start getting footage of people putting those on their head and seeing these digital items, and when you can look around your living room and with a click of a button, reskin your couch or put up new wallpaper on your wall or hang your really expensive art, that's when this shit gets really, really real. It's when it's going to click for so many people, and that, to me, is what's going to drive the next major bull run. Sly, you see me going off about AR and VR? I freaking love this stuff. Anyway, these guys, I'm going to be on a Spaces with them later. This Particle Ink thing, it's a mix of a game. I think it's a game, right? It's definitely an experience, like a story, but they're going to be at the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas. So there's going to be a whole room or maybe a few connected rooms there where you go there, you pay to get in, and you get to partake in this particle experience. I don't even remember the name of their world, but man, it first off makes sense for this to be in Vegas. It's a very showy thing, but shows a lot of people are looking seriously at AR. So anyway, they're really cool. That's coming up here in an hour. So a Spaces with those guys. I think another next week, and these actually mint the following week. I got nothing to do with those guys as far as promoting or anything, by the way. I just think they look incredible. So, worth peeking at. It's like a 2K edition collection. 0.09 ETH, I think, is the mint. So, a little pricey. But, like, this dude walking around with, like, an AR character on his back is bonkers. It reminds me of those Nike shoes. If those were augmented reality, well, then these are kind of in the same world. Like, I'm really looking forward to us walking around with glasses on, looking at our buddies and seeing that their shoes are actually like some monster shoes and their jacket's something else. And look, like, you walk around with a weapon on your back. And in the future, like we've seen Apple's hand tracking and Meta Quest has hand tracking. In the future, you can just like reach behind and pull out your sword or your gun with nothing really in your hand. But tracking's going to get so good that we're going to be playing games like this. So like, man, I guess it's a while off, but picture laser tag. Picture playing that in augmented reality with no real items other than the glasses on your face. But you run around your neighborhood and you've got some virtual guns and swords and stuff. Man, the world's going to get really, really fun here. in the next decade or so. We're a few years off, but it's really close at this point. It's cool stuff. Anyway, Particle. Animoca's backed these guys. Animoca backs everybody now, but they are an Animoca-funded company. It's interesting stuff, right? All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Quick recap. I guess I just want to peek at the market real quick. Down 0.5%. If you weren't listening at the beginning, this is just a word of caution. Everybody on X right now talking about we're back, right? Talking like we've got a bull run coming or something. We don't. Sales volume is up. Let's show that real quick. Like, sales volume definitely up. We're over 10 mil for the past few days, which we haven't seen in over a month. So that's different, right? Volume up, but the value is down. So be really careful, anybody trying to, get you to FOMO into anything. On the week, down 2.5%. On the month, down over 12%, almost 13%. So, dead cat bounce right now, probably. We got a couple months to go. In January, yeah, that's when we take off. Friendtech airdrop, right? Tons of ETH getting out there, most likely. Flooring Protocol has some drops too, I think. Like, they're definitely adding liquidity via reward farming. So that's when we see a kind of bounce here. Thoughts on Pudgy Penguins? Let me hit that first. Won't NFTs lag behind crypto? Yeah, they're independent now. The only relation NFTs really have to crypto is if people make money in crypto and they got disposable income, they're going to spend some on NFTs. But crypto running will not make NFTs run automatically. It's even harder than that. Declining prices in crypto, that gets people scared to buy NFTs because they lose value instantly. Prices running in crypto means your NFTs are more expensive, right? So they're almost detached at this point. All that matters is, are people selling their crypto? Are they getting extra money? And is there cool shit in NFTs that they can speculate on? Or is there something that has enough historical value at this point that they'll spend money on it, as a long-term thing? But they're detached. NFTs will run when people got money again. So stimulus, making money from crypto, or when there's a major tech innovation like the AR, VR stuff we were just talking about. Those are the things that'll make NFTs run. Pudgy Penguins, I don't know, man. I don't know. Because I don't think we now know what the ceiling is for collections. We know the 40, 50, whatever apes got up to, 100 ETH at one point. We know that probably isn't going to happen again, other than in that peak bull cycle, which this isn't that. We're probably years off from that. So it is, yes, all about liquidity. I don't know. Pudgies, I mean, if you're in a Pudgy Penguin right now, just to for the speculative side of it, you hold it till the next run for sure. How high they can go, though, no freaking clue. I bought one just to keep as my brand. I've never connected with an NFT. Cyberkong's one of my favorite collections. I've never connected with the NFT to be me. Didn't represent me ever. Only thing that ever worked like that for me was a V1 CryptoPunk. That felt like something I could rock forever, and I sold it, which sucks. The Pudgy Penguin I do like, though. That does feel like it could be me. That could be my digital, persona. So for branding, I'm keeping it. I got a little Pudgy, by the way, not even a real Pudgy. Yeah, sell them on the next run. And we got all this historical data to look at, right? January, February is the peak of the year. After that, doesn't matter if you have these, you got these little few week cycles where things run again, but January, February is the peak. So if you got one and you're looking to get out, in a few months might be your time. Checks are Opepin. Opepin are incredible. It's another one I sold. I might get back in because they can collab with anyone. So we already saw them collab with Pudgy Penguins. They got that hint or that tease coming that they're going to collab with Art Blocks, and I think that's going to happen. Almost no doubt in my mind that little doubt in my mind. I do think we'll get a Beeple collab one day in Opepin. I think we could get a Yuga Labs collab in Opepin. Man, they have so much potential. 200 drops in total in that series, and we're only at drop maybe 20 or so. I lost track. We're around 20. So there's 180 more drops to go. Yeah, Opepin is special. Checks are Opepin. If you're in it for the art, then it's... I don't know. They're both artsy, right? Jack Butcher's cool as hell. Checks are deflationary. People are trying to create those single checks. Only, 200 or 250 of them total. So if you're going based on pure speculative value, checks, O'Peppin's just got that interesting mechanic where if you buy them now, you hold them and you sell them when there's a big artist announced. So, you know, if you bought them early, you sell them now when Snowfro stuff is being teased. Or you stock up after that Snowfro drop, you buy them up and you wait till there's a Beeple announcement or, you know, another major artist that's teased as a collab. And I do know there's other big name artists that they are working with behind the scenes. So O'Peppins are a safe bet. I this week especially, I've been considering getting one. I had one of the 10 editions. I'd probably consider getting one of the 40 editions, like the real floor ones, but I think O'Peppin are really smart. But yeah, checks are deflationary. People are buying those to, you know, kind of combine or burn them or whatever. Yeah. You can't go wrong with either, though. Jack Butcher and Jaleel are absolutely incredible. Oh, Kat, you're back, buddy. Sorry, I just saw that.
All good. I wrecked myself on my phone a while back. My bad.
Funny. You just click off of it?
Yeah, don't hit back. It takes you out of the StreamYard.
Dude, I did that once when I was recording, and I was well into my recording, and like, dude, again, the amount of time that they take sometimes, well into my recording, on my mouse, like there's a mouse button I can hit, and it'll send me back a page. Literally backed myself out and had to re-record. Like, so frustrating.
I had to post so what I did was post a link to the new Valeria white paper in the YouTube chat. Because I actually had to go to the YouTube chat because StreamYard is different than YouTube. So, but somebody was asking for a link, so I just put it in there.
Oh, cool. Was that
because that has all the latest info.
Nice. Yeah, thank you for that. All right, let me see if there's anything else going on here, because otherwise I'm gonna wrap. Man, the 2 hours flew, but this is fun. I do think I want to do these maybe at least once on the weekend. Maybe get it tight to like an hour, and I'll probably have it written out like a little structure, but I just like vibing with the idiots, man. So this might be a perfect format. And Henry's in. So if I can come up with the like a schedule for it, Henry will be joining these too. You never know, dude. We could get a brand. We could get this out there really, and you know, tighten it up. People could tune in. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I really wanted to touch on today. Anything that you think I missed?
No, man. Covered a lot.
We covered a lot. Yeah, we did. All right. Yeah, I think that's a wrap then, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Anybody who did come, and Cats, thank you. Dude, thank you for joining. That was a treat, you being on my first kind of official live stream. That's cool.
And I miss our chats. It's the only way I can get to you. I'm here.
Yeah. You know, I got to find where in my day I can free up, because I do want to get another idiots chat scheduled too in Discord. But yeah, somewhere in the day we've had, dude, I'll have to tell you, you know, behind the scenes, we've had so many changes at Crypto Slam, so it's been dynamic. It's been wild. Give me the loot. Yeah, dude. Thank you, sir. Again, we'll do them shorter, tighter, get some graphics up and stuff too. But you're welcome to come on too, man. This is going to be ultimately not for like project people to come on and talk about their project. It's going to be for the community to come on and just share thoughts about all the topics we're talking about. So anybody's welcome at any point. So DM me or whatever, hit me up however you can, and we'll get you on too if you want. And you don't have to be on camera, so you can just chit chat. All right, guys, hope you have a great day. I should be doing my morning 5-minute video tomorrow, almost definitely. If not, it'll be a quick live stream. But I'll see you guys next time, all right? See ya.
Have a good day.